All right, are we ready?
Oui.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Great. So it is now 2 p.m. UTC. Welcome everyone who joined us for this LEXIT AMA today. So we have very special guests today. Maybe Sasha would like to be the first to introduce himself. He's a journalist that is going to be here to ask questions to Amir, Marc, and Werner.
Hi guys. Thank you, Emily, for making this possible. So who are we? We are Big Crypto. We have our own YouTube channel, which is focused on investing in crypto. We try to cover everything relevant for the average investor out there. And we've tried to focus also on interviews with CEOs. We had some good ones so far, and that's why I'm really excited to have a chance to talk to you, Amir.
My pleasure.
Looking forward to some good questions.
Great. Looking forward too.
Great. So maybe now we can go on the side of LEXIT. So Amir, you are the CEO of LEXIT and you are here today with two of your advisors. Maybe you'd like to introduce yourself first?
Yes, sure. Hi guys, my name is Amir. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of LEXIT, which is, I believe, a very exciting platform, and I hope you all will love and use. Along with me, we have Werner and Marc, which are our M&A specialists. They're advising our project, but not just during this ICO and all the crypto around, but also in the long term, because we think we found a great way to do what we do, but I believe that you can't know enough, and you need the best people you can find to guide you and help you on your way.
All right, I think that is a great introduction to your advisors. Maybe Marc and Werner, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, no problem. My name is Werner Leermakers, and I've been in M&A profession about 20 years. So I've done a lot of deals, smaller deals, bigger deals, and founded my own company 4 years ago to do my own M&A business in the Netherlands and internationally for private equity companies, for other companies, and for managers.
All right, very impressive resume. How about you, Marc?
Basically, it's likewise. So I've also been in corporate finance for over 20 years. In the past, I've worked with larger companies like Ernst & Young and Duff & Phelps, advising smaller and larger companies and governmental bodies on M&A and corporate finance issues. And I've joined Werner in the course of last year, building a specialized M&A boutique for smaller deals.
All right, thank you very much. So today we are here to talk about LEXIT. So Amir, I think LEXIT is here to solve a problem in the mergers and acquisition world. Can you tell us what that problem is?
Well, generally speaking, the M&A space is a very old space. Since the first stock trades and everything, companies been merging and being acquired. Now, it's a very elusive circle to some extent. It's very hard to participate as somebody who's out of this space. It's very hard for a young entrepreneur to find access to great advice, and it's basically very expensive and hard to get by. What we do is LEXIT. We are lowering the barriers. We are giving access. You can, even as a very unexperienced entrepreneur who wants to sell his business, you can do it with LEXIT. Very simple. It's very straightforward. And the platform is built in a way that, as I said, even the least experienced entrepreneurs can participate, or up to very experienced people too. It's a very adaptive platform. And the reason why Werner and Marc are with us is simple. You know, if you want to win the game, you have to know the rules. But if you really want to excel at what you do, you have to break the rules and align them in a new way. And this is what we do. So we do not want to confront the establishment of mergers and acquisitions of high finance. We want to board them to work with us to build bridges, because we can learn a lot from these people. And this is why I really appreciate working with our Dutch friends, Werner and Marc.
All right, thank you so much. Maybe Marc and Werner, you'd like to add something, or?
Well, in previous discussions with Amir, we acknowledge that we see the issue for smaller companies to reach out to the world in order to sell the business. For instance, in the case of startups, we've had several of those cases ourselves where there was excellent IP, but through to other causes, a company failed, and we tried to sell that excellent IP, but the reach that you have is limited to the various networks that you can approach, and there isn't a worldwide platform in order to reach out to someone else. Where I think the assumption would have been right that there would have been interest from a certain company worldwide in specific IP that we were trying to sell.
Yes, this is a very good point, Werner. Or maybe I can add something to that. It's like, if you are about to sell your business, you depend basically on your private network. You can reach out to professionals, they will cost you. That's okay. Good advice costs, right? But you are still limited. You might end up having 2, maybe 3 interested parties. And the deal you get might not be the best deal possible. What if you could put your listing, your offering on a global platform? What if all possible acquirers around the globe in all countries of the world would be able to see it and to participate in the bidding war? So you would end up with a much better deal, more choices. We at LEXIT believe in empowerment of the community. Okay, the startup community is where we're from. I'm a startup since decades now, and I believe in this concept. I believe in taking risks and chances, of course, reasonable risks and chances. I believe in doing things and not waiting until somebody tells you what to do instead of just doing it by yourself. And this is LEXIT. It's empowering everybody. It's democratizing this business space of mergers and acquisitions and trading of intellectual property.
All right, thank you so much. Sasha, are you clear on what LEXIT is, or do you want to add a few questions maybe?
Thanks, Emily. So what we always ask is your background. So what was the path for you coming to the conclusion to found LEXIT and to put it on the blockchain?
Yeah, a few years back, I was running a startup together with my co-founders, with the same co-founders as now, Maya Mackey and Dennis Rader, who happen also to be my best friends, but highly capable individuals. And we running out of funds. It was an app called EnvyMe. It was a social media app. It was picking up very nice in the app stores and the downloads, but we needed more funds for the marketing and for further development, right? And I figured, I could maybe sell some IP, some tech from a previous startup before, which happened to be a geolocation engine. I realized quickly that there is who I know, right? It was really my address book, basically. And we did not sell this technology, but at the same moment, I realized that there is no marketplace. Just as Werner just explained, there is no marketplace, there is no structure. It is a jungle. It is so hard to find a buyer. This is the biggest obstacle in mergers and acquisitions and trading of IP, to find a proper acquirer. And this is where we are heading to. And what I did is I went to my co-founders and said, hey guys, listen, I have this idea. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. Explained them the concept, right? The first idea. And they were totally excited. So we decided together to freeze entirely this social media app. That was like crazy. It's actually promising. We froze it, and all remaining resources and everything we allocated to LEXIT. It was 2 years ago, and we started developing it.
And so what's that's a big task, right? To develop a whole marketplace for IP. So what are the biggest obstacles you're facing at the moment?
At the moment, the biggest obstacles, the implementation of some crypto technology is definitely not so easy, because what we need to accomplish is that convince people from the M&A space, right, who are used to fiat and share transactions and all that kind of stuff, to adopt crypto technology, to trust crypto technology, which is good because trustless systems can be built with DLT. And so to convince these people to work with us, not even essentially building the technology itself, but to build the tech and a platform in the way they would embrace it, that they would understand it, that the boarding is easy, that even if you never used a crypto wallet before, you never owned a Bitcoin before, that when you open up an account, you are covered. You have your wallet and everything. But the way how they use it is most important. it's not exactly the technology which is important. Important is that somebody who has no pre-knowledge comes to the platform and starts using it as it's completely okay. You know, this UX part, this how we approach those people from the existing space. This is the biggest challenge, in my opinion.
Okay, and so how big is your team at the moment, and where's the whole team based?
Yeah, we do have quite some people. We have at this moment almost 20 people, I think. And we have our business dev one guy in Shanghai. We have a representative office in Singapore. And the most of the team, the big majority, is in Estonia, in Tallinn. This is where we're all located, also the executives and the founders. So we are based in Tallinn, Estonia, in the technology center of Europe, I claim.
So you already are true to your word about disrupting the IP market by being a more distributed yourself, seems like.
Yes, actually we are. Yes, we're pretty distributed.
And so where do you see, so what's coming up for LEXIT this year? So what's the road, how does the roadmap look like?
Well, currently we are in the crowd sale, as many of you guys might know. So this is currently going on for a few more weeks. And after that, we are planning to go to exchanges, the usual processes you do after you distribute your token. And nevertheless, the development from the actual platform never stopped, and we are almost there. So we will we're aiming for November for the launch of the platform itself. So we don't just fundraise and come up with a white paper. We actually have a running platform very, very soon.
How far is the platform at the moment? Do you have a MVP or something where you can log in?
Yeah,
already?
we had already last year. We had a prototype, a pretty good MVP, without mostly without any crypto tech implementation, no wallet and stuff. But as I think of now, we will be November, latest December, launching the actual platform. In October, we have planned a beta test, which we're going to run with our partners. Among the partners, Startup Bootcamp, the largest accelerator program in the world for startups. And they are a rev sharing partner of us. And we want to take all the feedback we can get from the startup scene into account to improve the first version, which we go live then.
Okay. So I had one. So yeah, what about your user acquisition? So what are the incentives for people to use your platform?
Well, if you are a startup, I guarantee you 9 out of 10 have no connects, at least 9 out of 10 into this industry if you want to sell. So what we do, we give you essentially for free, full access to the entire world of M&A. Okay? I have to excuse, there's a bit noise here because I'm in between, I just landed here. I'm at the airport, so excuse the noise, guys. So the incentive is very, very clear. You get access you never had before. Okay, if you are a buyer, you get access for free for a wealth and plethora of amazing technology companies, amazing intellectual property, and whatnot. So we make both sides very happy because we give you access to sell, but we give you access to find, right? And basically for free. And that's something. You can believe that big corporations who are buying startups and companies and technology every couple of days, like Google, they are spending millions and millions and just scouting the market, scouting the world to find adequate targets to acquire. And now we make even their life much easier soon. We already have almost 1,000 pre-listings, and with our partners like Startup Bootcamp, BDO, and many others to come, we will have many, many more listings on day one. When we launch the platform, it's going to be already a buzzing marketplace.
So one more question about who are your competitors? So against whom are you competing at the moment? About centralized competitors and decentralized ones.
Well, in this segment of mergers and acquisitions, in the form of a marketplace and a facilitating platform, that's what we are. There is none. We are the first doing this, and there is none. There are companies who are selling websites like Flipper. There are boutique firms who have a web presence like Exit Round, which are doing a good job, but they all rely on manual power. They cannot scale in the way. We have a very high degree of automation on the platform, meaning we can allow to grow and expand very fast. So as crazy it sounds, we are front runners here right now, new ground. especially on built on blockchain technology, especially utilizing crypto tech and tokens and all this kind of stuff in that segment. It doesn't exist.
Sorry, Sasha, you had another question?
Okay. Yeah. Any partnerships you can confirm at the moment, or something which is brewing up?
Plenty. As I just mentioned, on the revenue sharing part, it is partners like Startup Bootcamp, BDO, and many others, right? They are directly boarding listings onto LEXIT, meaning there's a startup which is a part of Startup Bootcamp, for instance, say in Copenhagen or anywhere else in the world. They're around the whole planet. They want to exit. They want to sell IP. They want to sell technology from a pivoted project. They can do it, and these partners are directly as revenue sharing partners involved into this process. So this is where many deals will come from. On the other hand, we have amazing partnerships in the crypto space. We believe also that security tokens are very important in the future. And we have a partnership with Polymath Network, which is an amazing project, I believe. They have a very, very promising future, in my opinion. And it's going to be a very interesting partnership for us because it's opened up a new revenue stream for us from the security token side. We partnered up with Chainium, which is a very interesting project too in the crypto space, working with tokenizing of equity and different other things. We have, I know so many partners right now. Metaverse is very important. Metaverse is a public blockchain founded by Eric Gu, which is an amazing piece of technology because it makes it a lot easier to work with digital identities on blockchain and the tokenization of intellectual property. This is very interesting. You can tokenize intellectual property with this chain. And we have a full partnership with Metaverse and Eric Gu. Eric Gu is also known for being the co-founder of Antchess, and then after that started Metaverse. And Antchess rebranded it someday into the project called Neo, which everybody of you knows.
So yeah, I think it's very interesting to talk about partnerships and about what LEXIT does, but I think also a lot of our viewers aren't actually sure of how it works right now, the sector of M&A, how it works to make a deal and sell your company. Maybe Marc and Werner, you're very experienced in this. Can you explain a bit how does this process work right now, the classical way?
That's a good idea.
Oh, yes, please. I can do that. Usually what you would do if you want to sell a company these days, it could do you some harm just to put out a sign outside and saying for sale, because you could get smart questions from your staff, from your suppliers, from your clients. There will be some unrest. So that's basically why these processes are untransparent. And you would only want to inform those other stakeholders, like for instance also your bank, once you have a deal at hand, and not to trouble them with the unrest that you are pursuing a deal as of the start. So in order to conduct such a intransparent process, you would go to an advisor who would help you to prepare your business for a sales process, who would advise you on the proper sales process, who would prepare marketing materials and execute this process together with you up until the last bit of it, when you would go to certain legislations to a notary office in order to close the deal. That's in short. Every deal has some common rhythm as just described, but every deal is different. Every timing is different. So it still depends on how things would actually work out.
So you've explained this in short, but I believe actually the process is not short at all. What would be like a very fast M&A process and a very long M&A process? What is the shortest way to sell your company and the longest way? How long would it take?
Well, as Marc described, that would be different per transaction, but a very short term would be somewhere between 1 and 3 months. Then you would be extremely fast.
And presumably, we're going to do this in a two-sided way. And presumably, then you have been approached.
Yeah.
So then someone has already decided that he wants to buy you. He doesn't take no for an answer, and he wants to pursue very fast. Then you get these kind of processes.
And then the worst case scenario,
to sell, you get something else.
Okay.
And then the worst case, well, that can be 1, 2, 3 years. I mean, we have been in processes which take maybe 2 years. So that's
this
the
is
worst
where we
case.
kick in.
And few fail.
Yeah.
A lot of them fail, right? I mean, statistically, there's quite a bunch of failed negotiations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And so,
absolutely. The puzzle needs to fit from the buyers and the sellers perspective. And since it's a multi-dimensional object, a company, it's sometimes very hard to find the right piece of puzzle.
mm-hmm. And so you were talking about the fact that you have to have the right network, so it's not really transparent. So you have to know the people. So basically, selling your company, it only relies on the people you know and if you're well connected or not.
Well, it's two ways. That's one part. You need to have the right network to unlock potential buyers for your customer in this case. The other way around is that also your client probably knows a lot of companies close to him, competitors who might be in for to buy his company. So those you don't need to know personally, but then the network of your client is also very important. And then the last is also you do some desktop research to try to find companies that might fit strategically, geographically, or otherwise. So it's three-dimensional.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much. So
I think we have some. I wrote down some questions from the chat.
Yeah, we do. Do you want to start? I was going to ask questions from the chat as well.
So the last question I saw was, are companies going to get tokenized in order to get sold, or how is the sale going to go?
No. First of all, we as LEXIT, we do not buy or sell or tokenize your equity. We don't do that. What we do, we give you the playground, the entire marketplace, with a step-by-step push-pull systems with timers and deadlines to accomplish those deals very fast. So even a complex deal would take years, can be done in months. That's the thing. So tokenizing of equity, like others projects do, in my opinion, is interesting, but not groundbreaking. Okay, it's your token, what you have, is a proxy to a actual stock or share. And I don't see like the big improvement in this one here. I see LEXIT as a dramatic improvement of a business process, which is complex, costly, and full of risks, right? So we want to make your life easier, to give you all the tools you need to get those deals done as soon as possible. If you have something of interest, we will find you over the platform, your buyer. And if you're a buyer, we will give you a lot of choices to look into.
All right, thank you so much. We have another question coming in live from Ashton Coyne. How can LEXIT change the music industry for the better?
LEXIT to change the music industry?
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, music is intellectual property, right? A composition, lyrics, and music itself are is IP. You can sell music as a IP or asset on LEXIT. You could technically sell the rights of your book also on LEXIT as intellectual property. So does work. We plan in the future to tokenize intellectual property with help of the metaverse blockchain, right? Which is going to be perfectly suited to accomplish that complicated task. And you will technically be, say, you're a musician, you have a song, and you tokenize this song, and many people can participate as co-owners or co-participants from this song. It's going to be possible, but it's not our main goal right now. We want to really establish this business marketplace for everyone in a transparent and safe environment with help of blockchain tech.
Okay, and so talking about IP, you mentioned, so you have a partnership with Loki, right?
Correct, brand new.
Can you explain what are the differences between you and Loki, and maybe for those who don't understand, who don't know what Loki is?
Yeah, first of all, Loki is a project from the East Coast United States, founded by John Wise and friends. It's a perfect fit for us. So what Loki does is they can help evaluate, find out what specific IP is, first of all, what is capable able to do to accomplish with that, what you can do with this, right? And coming to a value too. So Loki and LEXIT work in a way that we will use the Loki engine to give more detailed information to IP listings on LEXIT itself. We're still working on the details, how we're gonna implement our tokens into this vice versa and everything. But I'm very excited about the partnership with Loki. And John Wise is a true entrepreneur, and I'm really happy to work with him. I met him a couple of times, and yeah, very excited about this partnership.
All right. Sasha, do you want to ask another question, or can I go?
Can you answer really quick the basic question, why blockchain?
Oh my God, I heard this question so many times, you know. Then I always ask, why Bitcoin? We have dollar, you know. No, look, blockchain unlocks incredible potential if you want to make sure that everybody involved into a deal knows what's going on. We put it into a immutable ledger. Any process of every deal is being protocoled onto the ledger. So there's no misunderstandings. It's full transparency. For that, DLT is perfect, right? Secondly, transaction speed. So every internal payment or fees, listing fees, unlocking of features on our platform for users, they will use a token for that, which is only possible if there's a blockchain beforehand, right? So our ERC20 coin LXT is working on Ethereum and it's been used for that. So there are so many reasons to use blockchain technology and to build a decentralized network. Decentralized also are assessors. We call them lexers. These are individuals and companies who are helping to give their opinions and assessments on the listings, right? We also compensate them within our decentralized token model. So there's many, many good reasons to do that. Why blockchain? I mean, technically you can do anything fiat. We can go back and start trading, you know, an apple for a banana if you want to, right? So
and then next question is also the token of valuation. So what's the token valuation? How is the token going to be appreciated?
Maybe specify. I didn't get that correctly.
So you will tokenize the IP platform with LEXIT. So what's the valuation? What's the purpose of the LEXIT token?
Oh yeah, right. First of all, the two main things. One is that all users who are using LEXIT will have to use the token for that. You want to list your company, your IP, you use a token for that. You have to pay a fee in that token. That's the simple things. You will also have to unlock new functions and features with that. It's a pure utility.
There won't be the possibility to pay that in fiat, only in LEXIT?
Yes, only in the coin. These things in the coin. Now, very interesting, the second part of the token is very important. When it comes to the point that one deal actually gets closed, there is a small commission which we take, which is our revenue. It's an average around 3 to 4%. So now this commission, if the deal has a value of $10 million US, would be,
So this is your incentive to work hard, get projects on the platform, and actually get
deals
done.
Yes, because we only make our revenue with our own coin. We could say we take the commission in the transaction currency, like dollars or euros or even stock, but we said no. We don't want to participate in this way. We want that our users are compensating us in our own coin. So a $10 million deal, which is a small deal in the M&A space, would result in 300,000, say, US dollar, which they have to supply themselves with a coin and pay us in our own coin, which is, of course, interesting because the more volumes on the platform occur, the more get closed. And only if they get closed, we get compensated in our own coin, which is increasing, hopefully, the demand on the coin in the markets. So this is the two ways the LXT is implemented right now. We are thinking of improving the token model over time to see where it needs to be improved, because nothing is set in stone forever. You know, it's evolution, baby, right?
All right, so that's good. You have an agile mentality to this. That's very good. And so you're talking about, you know, a $10 million deal is a small deal in M&A, but I think also what you want is to allow all kind of entrepreneurs, even small entrepreneurs with small startups, to go on this platform and be able to sell a small company. Like, can I go on this platform and go shopping for a startup and kind of discover new startups and all?
Yes, you can technically do very simple things. Say you have a good seed funding, but then there is a task. You need to build a database, for instance, a simple database to accomplish, you know, storage of user profiles and whatnot. Now, this tag is not rocket science. Been done many times before, right? And you can simply go now to Oracle and pay up a subscription and use the databases of Oracle, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. Or you go to LEXIT and check out what's there in databases, for this kind of purpose, and you might find exactly that database ready to be used, and you buy it for a fraction of the other costs, and then you buy another part of your product which you want to go. And with a capable CTO, you can connect these parts and build your product. So not just for big M&A players, this might be interesting to use the platform. Also for guys who want to actually build a product, they go, so to say, shopping for the components, the core components, like a video game. You want to do a 3D video game, you need a 3D engine, which is calculating the polygons and all that kind of stuff to make a nice video game, right? So this is, there's so many video games who fail, but who have great technology. Some of them licensed technology from Unreal Engine or other products, but some of them were homegrown and built by themselves and might be for sale. So for pennies on a dollar, you can go shopping for technology and build something entirely new out of it. Speaking of recycling technology.
Okay, great. So I think this leads quite well to a question we had on Telegram. So what often becomes the most valuable aspect of a small company or medium-sized business when it is sold? Maybe we haven't heard Marc and Werner a lot. Can you guys take this question?
Yeah, I'd love that.
Well, when you look at the value of a company, it's not an easy part to assess. Most discussions in an M&A transaction will go on the value of a company from a buyer perspective or from a seller's perspective. That differs. So you have to take a very good look at the value drivers of a company. So it's not easy to say this in general, what the value of the company would be like. When you look at startups, the most difficult part of a startup is to get it from a product development point of view to actual customers and revenue streams, cash flows. So basically, when you look at the value of a company, it's summarized in the cash flows of the company. When you have growing cash flows, the company will be more valuable than when you have no cash flows. On the other hand, if you have a strategic buyer, some products may not have any cash flow, but still be valuable to a company, as Amir just explained, because it's a necessary item they need for further development of their own products. So then you might be paying a lot of money for something that doesn't have any cash flows, but is a crucial part for your own product development.
All right. And how can software in general improve the M&A sector? Do you think this is really, software can really help this sector?
Yes, especially for those small deals, as just mentioned by Amir. Everybody knows the company General Electric, as it was used to know, or BASF or Nestle. Those are quite visible companies, and their shares are publicly listed. So if they want to pursue a M&A transaction, it's quite visible who would be interested in acquiring that.
Yes.
But there are zillions of smaller companies, far smaller than they would go at a transaction value of 10 million. And it is especially software that would enable to market such companies, to find buyers for such companies, instead of going the old way by using personal networks. So yes, software can accelerate that particular segment of the market.
Sorry, go on.
I just wanted to add, this is a very good point. I mean, software and algorithms, they change the world entirely. Most of us not to the full scope understand how much. Like the stock markets. I mean, 90 plus or even more % of the trades happening on the stock markets have been done by software, by algorithms, by high frequency trading algorithms, by robots technically. So the entire world is being already not just monitored, but vastly controlled through software and processes, optimized processes on a specific use case. So I believe that hardware, I'm holding this phone in my hand, is becoming less and less important. Important is the software. the hardware, how it runs, is going to always evolve and change. And I believe in a couple of years completely disappear. And the IP, the software is the IP essentially, is determining our future. I believe that.
I have one question from the chat, which was, so LEXIT has been around for 3 years. It's been live for 3 years. What has been done in these 3 years?
No, it's 2 years actually. A bit, okay. 2 months more than 2 years. The first year, you have to understand, if you want to disrupt, or I don't like this word anymore, disrupt, but okay, if you want to disrupt an entire industry and change it, transform it into something new, like the M&A and IP space, which is huge. We're not talking peanuts here. We're talking about the volume of thousands and thousands of billions US every year in volume. Okay, if you want to accomplish that, you really have to think first before you do. The first year, we did not even write a single line of code. Okay, we were just trying to understand what this actually is in its vastness, in its complexity, in its different use situations possible, and to build a platform which is adaptive and making it work for all kind of use cases, right? So it was like a lot of processing. The process is the most important part of us. We immediately understood that we need partners, so we reached out already. 1 year ago, we started building the partner network, which is very important too. And then actually we started writing code and developing it. So building this is not just, it's not just an app, right? It's just LEXIT itself in its entireness is a business use case. It's a business platform, which needs two most important components, which is the platform itself, with the tech we built and how we do it, the UX we built, how to process it. But on the other side, we need the connections. We need the expertise of professionals like Werner and Marc, like others, like our partners to drive deals onto the platform. Because then you have a platform which is great, has amazing technology, but you have no business on it. So I thought it's smart to build that along the way together, and it works so far. We're very happy. We boarded amazing partners, and already now we could do serious impact in the tech industry.
I have another question. So a lot of so your slogan is also exit your startup, right?
Yeah.
A lot of new coins emerged in the last year. A lot of ICOs were started. So there are a lot of startups actually just launched, got their funding, and now trying to build the product. So do you see any coins selling their company on your platform in the future?
I do believe that statistically, I will be probably right that the majority of these, like 91%, will fail. But they could then do following. They can take the company assets and token and whatnot, and as a package, liquidize the entire thing to potential acquirers, who still see profit and benefit in acquiring these projects. So yeah, we're connected to many crypto projects, of course, during our journey in the crypto space, and we want to help you guys when you see, okay, this is the end of the road, but we still have valuable technology. We still have a coin which is capitalized to that and that extent. Before you try to liquidize it over OTC deals or directly on exchanges and whatnot, liquidize the entire platform or what do you have. If you see it doesn't work anymore, you might be surprised what you can get for that.
I'd just like to go back to that question we had before, that you were there, you had been there for 2 years. I think that's actually a good sign, because the opposite would have worried me a lot. Like, you can't disrupt a sector that is worth so much money and just arrive and do this in 1 minute.
No.
You have to do a lot of due diligence. You have to contact a lot of people. Yes. You have to do a lot on the legal side as well. So yes. I think that's actually a good sign that you have been there working on this before.
Yeah. It's as I said, not just the technology. This is a huge opportunity, but it has to involve established structures, because they're not just going to disappear. I want them to work with us to adapt to it, to create new revenue streams for themselves, and together with us, transform this entire space onto the blockchain.
There was a really good question, I think, from the chat in YouTube, which said, what about universities? There's so many professors and students
Very good.
Started projects, and now, okay, they finished their studies, they're going out in corporate world, so now this project is maybe there. Do you think this is a huge marketplace?
Incredible marketplace. There comes a big truck. I think there's no IP on the truck, but he's loud. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I have to do it here. Okay, universities are a powerhouse of IP. Research projects, you name it. Universities have a stockpile of great intellectual property, but they don't have departments to market and sell this IP. Rarely out of one of these projects, the students and maybe even the professor together found a company. It happened in the past, and it's make a startup out of it, right? And universities are definitely on our radar, and we already are in touch with a university, a very, very renowned university, and we hope to win them and participate.
So I think we have a question actually from someone in the webinar. So hold on, I'm going to put him in there. Sean, can you hear us? Sean, are you there?
I think it's just entering the hive.
So we're trying. This is, the joy of live TV.
No, that's okay. It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm cooking here.
Amir, how is France?
Hey, how you doing? It's beautiful. It's I just got here in Nice, and
can you hear me?
Yeah,
yes,
we do.
I can hear you,
Yes.
Sean.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. So I have
Welcome.
this. Well, thank you. Great webinar, first of all. Thanks for invite. I do have a question for Ame, basically. So I, in past, already had my own startup. I tried to work on it. But then again, what you once said that not everything can be successful. So that's what it happened. So do you have any advice for young startup owners or anything that you is going to, work on his own business in that sense?
Well, the main reason why your startup fails on average is the lack of funds. Now, to get funds, you need to show results. But to show results, you need funds. It's egg and chicken problem, always. So what I can tell you is, if you ever get your hands on some good funding, be very, very wise on what you spend it on. All right? Be really careful. Think like super conservative. Think it's the last money you will ever have in your life. Okay? And be really careful. That's what I can tell you. Because I made that mistake. I overestimated growth. I overestimated talent. I overestimated myself. I did capital mistakes, I can tell you. And one of them was not be strict on the funds, strict on the spendings. This is very important. So if you can start a startup, and you always should do it with a co-founder, seriously. Don't do it alone. You need somebody to reflect and to go through the valley with you. But this co-founder should be, if you are a finance guy, he should be a technology guy. If you're the technology guy, he should be a finance guy.
Amir, I have to say goodbye. I need to leave. I want to say thank you for this.
Thank you too. Thanks for the comment.
Really interesting AMA where I learned a lot, and I will monitor your project really closely, and I hope we can get in touch maybe.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you, Emily, for everything.
Merci beaucoup.
See you soon.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I think my arm is about gonna, see, I'm holding it. It's gonna die. It's turning black or something now.
Sean, thank you so much for your question. Thanks a lot. I think this puts us, it's a good link to another question, actually. So it was to Marc and Werner. How can a startup owner prepare to do an M&A, sorry. So you said you have to put in an advisor and he's going to help you prepare your startup. How does that work?
Well, to do an M&A transaction and to do a successful M&A transaction, a good preparation is key. So first of all, you need to be aware of where the value of your company lies for potential buyers. And that can be different for each potential buyer you identify. We talked about strategic buyers. You can talk also about financial buyers, and the value of your company for each of such a buyer can be different. So you need to have a good perspective on that before you enter any discussion with any buyer. So that's I think the first thing you need to realize, that your preparation in this to this process is key. You have to be very well prepared to do any discussions with any potential buyer. So that's the first step.
Second, I would say that you would need to live up to everything you've said in the process. Trust comes by foot, and it goes on horseback, if we would say in the Netherlands. So that, and that's and the perception of the other party that you are dealing with is their truth. So you need to make sure that whatever you inform them about holds when they are taking a closer look at it, which is a virtue of a good preparation, because if you have done your preparation properly, you are aware of your own pitfalls and you have worked around the strategy in order to mitigate the impact of that.
Mm-hmm. And so I have a question looking at the problem from the other perspective. When you are shopping for a startup internationally, what are the biggest challenges you are faced with?
I think the biggest challenge you will be faced with is to find the right one. And that's also where Amir comes in. I mean, there are millions of startups around the globe, but to find the right one fitting your company, that's looking for a needle in a haystack. You have to be very careful which startup you will add to your company to increase your own value, and you can lose a lot of money by making the wrong choices there.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if we move on to the next question, we have a question from Alexander. When is LEXIT going to be launched?
Okay, I was just muted, sorry. Okay, now the plan is this year. So LEXIT launched this year. November is aimed, and we're going to have a beta test before. We're going to work with our partners on that to iterate, and with our advisors to give us their input to finalize the last steps. We're a long way in already, and this year, LEXIT going live and making people happy. Yeah.
Okay, great. So let me see. So we have a lot of questions. I'm trying to. So how long does it take to sell a company? We've answered this already. What types of companies are looking to buy startups?
Oh, I think our friends here can answer that too. But my opinion is, you see, the Fortune 500 companies, the big corporations, they more and more replace research and development, R&D, with mergers and acquisitions. So instead of coming up with an idea, hiring the people, building the prototypes, building a product, they just go out there and look what is out there, what is something like we are thinking of, and we just buy the company. So they replace R&D, which is not always a good thing. Like in the medical, in the pharmaceutical industry, this is a bad thing. Past has shown cases that pharmaceutical industry, some companies who turned out to be huge global players, they have been growing dramatically with M&A. But what happened is they just increased dramatically the price tag on a medication, and even simple meds became entirely unaffordable for everybody. So there's also a downside to that. If they cut down on the research and development and just grow with M&A, this is also dangerous. But in generally speaking, if you are into technology, M&A is a very, very proven way of acquiring tech, and also important talent. Speaking of acquiring, you buy the company, but you structure the deal away that the most important people, key players, key developers, they stay on the team for a couple of years to make a transition. So this is very important too.
Okay. So we have
to add that Amir is talking about a strategic buyer, but you also have a lot of financial or informals who are trying to find startups they can add value to and grow in order to sell them maybe 3, 4, 10 years later for more money.
Okay. So we have a very nice question here from the chat. Marc and Werner, how do you see the future of the M&A sector with software like LEXIT? How do you see the future of this field?
Well, we think that a connected world through a platform like LEXIT will enable many, especially smaller entrepreneurs or startups, to find a suitable buyer for their company or for their IP. Having said that, we also are of the opinion, and we have good discussions with that on that with Amir, is that it will replace especially the hard side of M&A. And there where you would need still, you would still need the soft side of communicating the right things, building trust. We think that's very hard to come by through a platform. But in order to deploy that, you would first need to have potential parties interested. And for that, we see the marketplace changing as a result of LEXIT.
It also will make your parts of the process will be far more efficient than they are now. So that would save you some time in the entire process due to software platforms like LEXIT.
Okay. Marc, you were saying earlier that you had a problem yourself, in an M&A deal. You were trying to sell IP, but it was very hard. What were the obstacles, the hurdles you were faced with when you were trying to sell IP?
To find a buyer. we had award-winning IP, which had gone bankrupt in the Netherlands as a result of not finding suitable funders. One of the examples mentioned by Amir. So we were helping the receiver to see whether we could liquidize the intellectual property, which was IP registered property. And it's very hard. I cannot go into the details of the deal. It's very hard not to envision that this intellectual property would have been valuable to someone in the world. Could have been in India, could have been in China, could have been in the USA. So what we did was just to go the old-fashioned way. And we have approached, I think it was 4,500 VC funds, angels, Series A investors, in order to make them aware of this opportunity. But at that point in time, once you have gone into receivership, many investors will think, well, okay, there must have been something wrong, because otherwise it wouldn't have gone bankrupt. So we were not able to find that. So the company was dissolved.
All right. And now if we put this, in the framework of LEXIT, how does an entrepreneur with this unused IP can profit off of it with LEXIT? How does that work?
Yeah, if they would have been able to offer their IP or their business model, let's say 6 or 9 months before they went into bankruptcy, they wouldn't have had that black spot of going into bankruptcy, and they would have had a higher chance of finding an investor or a strategic party to work with.
Plus, if you add then the more efficient way LEXIT can run this process, I mean, imagine how much time it takes to search, find, and approach 4,500 funds throughout the entire world by phone or by email. And now you can do it on a platform, so that's much more efficient.
Mm-hmm. So
you put the competition totally on the buyer side. There's immediate competition. There's a timer running out, and everyone who is interested potentially, he has to act. And even if they get chosen to proceed in the due diligence, right, in the deal room of LEXIT, even there are going to be deadlines and timers who will force you to make the next move. You can just say, oh yeah, I'm going to let somebody hang for 3 months now and maybe come back to you later. Well, if the timer runs out, the opposite party is going to have the option to say deal is off and he's out of the system, So we want to streamline this process with our push-pull system with deadlines and timers throughout the whole deal room process to make sure that people act. If you want something, you will pay attention. If you really want something, you will pull through. If you don't, timers off, deals off the table. So we really want to, efficiency is very important.
All right, I think that's a great link to another question. How does LEXIT make the search for buyers and sellers easier? So I think there are special search functionalities or something. Can you explain this?
Absolutely. First of all, when you make a listing, you have to tell us what you got. You categorize. You say, we're in this industry, say biotech. We're specifically here. We're producing enzyme analyzers or whatever not. You specify what you are. So with categorizing, you get labeled by that. When I'm searching for something, I can just swap the categories and more specific, get a rough result. This is just the beginning. Over time, our AI systems will, realize what you as a user are actually interested in, what you're looking for all the time. We will give you recommendations driven to that. Along that, even more over time, since our deep learning systems at some point will be really great, give you projections in which tag could be combined with what tag for what results. It's going to be a crazy new world, guys. And AI and sophisticated and fully loaded databases will help us to make better decisions, will give us better recommendations. So over time, this is going to be very interesting. But to begin with, it's a very simple search mask. We have a very flexible search engine too. A full text search, of course, you know what I mean? You can write stuff and we'll find you active listings on that behalf. It's pretty simple to use.
All right. So I realize that we have very little time left, actually.
What? Oh no.
Yeah, I know, right? This went so fast. So yeah, there was one topic I really wanted to talk about. So recently, Tron has acquired BitTorrent. I think this is a huge news in the crypto world, in the decentralized world, in the M&A world. Can you explain a little bit, maybe for those who don't know, what is BitTorrent and Tron, and kind of explain this deal and how it went?
Well, I can tell you a bit about it, my opinion at least, right? So first of all, Tron is a highly evaluated project in the billions already in capitalization. In my opinion, totally, I don't understand why, okay? They got incredible funds and whatnot, but basically nothing to show for, like ridiculous, billions, right? And that was like, okay, fine. But now they do what is actually necessary, use this money, use those funds to actually acquire technology, somebody who's actually building something. And they happen to get BitTorrent, which is a veteran and a highly, I think they're great. I mean, put aside what content was distributed over the services. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that the company, a startup like almost 1.5 decades ago, started to build a decentralized peer-to-peer solution for file sharing. Okay, this is groundbreaking back then. And now they get acquired by Tron, which is for Tron better than for BitTorrent. And I think they got away way too cheap with that. BitTorrent has a massive user base and tens of percentages of the internet traffic runs over BitTorrent. And I think they're worth way more than 140 million. They would have got a better deal on LEXIT. But for Tron, for the executives, they have been well advised by the advisors to buy BitTorrent, definitely, because I would encourage them to look for more interesting targets to maybe out of this infrastructure they acquired right now or are acquiring with BitTorrent to actually build a solution, what they're dreaming of I think content and media being decentralized. They can actually make that happen with this acquisition. And I think it's a positive sign. It's also great that M&A companies now, M&A deals are happening now in the larger scale in the crypto space. This is fantastic. And is going to be even better when we are going live, because all those great crypto projects and other startups which are not in crypto will find each other easier and get those deals done. So good choice, Tron. You're lucky.
So yeah, I think, but actually even this deal, so with all the money that Tron has and with all the fame that BitTorrent has, you would think that this is a deal that could go quite easily with all the means that they have. But actually, this is a deal that took a very long time.
Yes.
I think Tron had to create another company to acquire BitTorrent and then merge it, and it was actually a lot of hassle to
Yes. Yes, I heard so. I wasn't part of this.
Yeah. So yeah, it's only 2 minutes left in this. Maybe I'm going to see if there is a. I think we can go straight to the to your closing statements. Maybe you'd like to conclude with maybe. So you already said how you see the future of M&A. Maybe you'd like to add something more.
Well, if you guys are running a startup or you're participating in a startup as an employee, even tell your coworkers, tell your founders and executives about us, because I believe they all have something in the past of value, some good IP. Make a pre-listing on LEXIT and help us grow the community and empower the startup community in the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amir. Anything from Marc and Werner?
No, I agree. I agree with Amir on this one. You need to be part of this and to unlock the value of your own company, it would be a very good thing to do it on LEXIT.
All right. Well, thank you so much for this AMA. I think this was very informative. We managed to answer most of the questions. And yeah, I had a lot of fun. I learned a lot. Thank you so much. And guys, if you have any more questions, feel free to join us on Telegram. We'll always be there to answer your questions.
And again, a big thank you, and to you, Emily, for another great show. You just know how to do this.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Au revoir. Bye, everybody.
Bye.